Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to today's episode of IRMAN Talks. I'm excited to introduce our speaker, Mr. Sabir, founder of Future Labs Studios and an alumnus of PRM 31st batch, who will share insights on the essentials of artificial intelligence, tools for personal and professional productivity, and who better to extract the most valuable insights from him than his partner in life and learning, Ms. Kuntal. Also from PRM 31st batch, she'll be our moderator today. I'm sure Ms. Kuntal will expertly guide the conversation to bring out the best for our community. So let's get started. Please mute yourself and note that this session is being recorded. Over to you, Ms. Kuntal.
Thank you so much, Krishna. So, a very good evening to all of you, and really excited to be here today and to share the stage with Shabbir, who is also my partner. Um, for my introduction, I think many of you know me as a Googler, as someone who is very active on LinkedIn, as a mother of two, as the wife of another IRMAn from the same batch. But today, I'm here in the capacity of an AI enthusiast, someone who has been using AI tools lately to realize her passion of becoming an artist. And I'm keen to share this knowledge with all of you with the help of Shabbir, who is now known as the AI teacher, AI guru in our family and in our friend circle. He has been very, very passionate about AI and emerging technologies from the past 5 years. So I'm seeing him very, very closely. And recently, he turned his passion into his profession. So he started his own firm, and he is sharing this knowledge at the same time, building tools so that more and more people can actually leverage this technology through which they can transform both their professional and personal life. So today's session will be about getting to know the overall landscape, what is happening both in the field of AI and emerging technologies. We have been getting a lot of questions already. So there are few slides that you'll see in the beginning. These questions are put up, so we'll try to answer them. And then because it's just 1 hour and 10 minutes are already elapsed, we'll focus more on showing you the demos of certain tools that are very, very useful, that you can uh, try out right away after this session or over this long weekend. So let's begin. I'll ask Shabir to take over now and tell us little bit about how he started on this journey, and what are the key themes that he feels are worth exploring from anyone who is enthusiastic about emerging technology. So, over to you, Shabir.
Thank you so much, Krishna, to begin with for this platform here. It's lovely to see week on week everyone's coming talking about things they're passionate about. So thanks for creating this forum, and thanks so much, Kuntal, for being here with me, and also all of you who have joined us today in this longish weekend where you could have been on a vacation. So I really thank, and I really understand that. I mean, you folks are definitely AI enthusiasts, and I'll ensure that the time that you have put today will provide sufficient value for the time that you have taken out. Um, to answer Kuntal's question, and I think that's a good point for us to start this entire forum here. For me, the core area of interest over many years, I mean, almost I'll say 7 to 8 years, when I have been really deep into exploring this, studying this from different perspectives. Uh, One of the core areas that I'm interested in is emerging technologies, and AI is one of the sub branches of this emerging technology that we are seeing here. And I also feel, especially with this community here, the community of Irmans, because of the kind of work that we do, it touches the lives of people on the ground in one way or another, whether we go into business or we go into social sector work. One thing remains common between Irmans is we we work for the people one way or another. And because our unique position as leaders, as knowledge workers, I think it's very crucial for us to be on the forefront of emerging technologies. Also, this entire field of study called futurism or foresight is something that I have been undertaking for quite a few years now in my own capacity. And internet is a very amazing place. If you are a learner, there's no end to how much you can learn about things. So I'll start the session with a few things about, what's something that you should really know, not just about AI, but about emerging technologies. And when I say emerging technology, I mean robotics. I mean the advances we are seeing in medicine. So medical LLMs coming in, genetics, biotechnology, all those areas will affect our lives in very tangible ways in the next 5 years. So we are talking about near future here. And I think as IRMANs, as knowledge worker, we should really, have a very good grasp of that trend of what's really happening in that sector. It's something which I have seen is largely not that well known. So I'll touch upon those topics to begin with. When it comes to talking about AI, I've been really happy to see all the questions pouring in since morning. So I have listed them down and I'll address as many of them as I can. But our session will largely be a demo-based session, which is what I also do. So I've been doing a lot of corporate and social sector workshops to ensure that organizations get a good understanding of AI. And usually I customize it for every organization that I do, apart from the tool building work that we are doing in Future Lab. So here also, obviously the time is a bit of a constraint here because AI is a very broad topic. Typically, my workshops run for 2 hours or more. Uh, Here in 1 hour, what we'll try to do is, in terms of professional productivity, we'll give you a demo of this very powerful way to use AI by building an assistant. So I'll show you assistant which I have built for myself, an assistant which I have built for an organization I'm associated with now. In fact, Catalyst Group, which is run by couple of very legendary ones. So I'll show you how powerful a AI assistant can be, and how can it really customize things for you. So essentially AI, but custom built for you. So that's something that I will talk about in the professional side. Um, Obviously, there are so many tools which are there, which can be really powerful uh, in your day-to-day work life. And I have done this talk once before for 8 months, where I had talked about each of those individual tools. So maybe after the session, I can also share a YouTube link of that session that can be really useful for you. In terms of personal creativity, ideally, I actually have a person in living in my house who I see has just really gone to very high levels of creativity using AI. So Kuntal is a very power user of Midjourney and creative AI tools, and uh, we can talk a little bit about the work that she has been able to uh, do in the area of design and creativity, and also we'll make some creative stuff out here again as a demo. And also, I would really love it if this, because the limitation of a virtual session is you are confined to this small box. I'll really love it if you can keep pouring in the questions the way that you have already posed to me on WhatsApp, because that will keep it more interactive. Because frankly speaking, when it comes to learning some tools, you can there are more than enough really high quality videos on YouTube where you can go and learn those tools. But this session, the whole I think the whole power of this session is this community that we have, able to ask each other questions and learn from each other. I think that's the most powerful piece. So definitely keep the questions coming. Kuntal, if you can, whenever a question comes, because I don't have the chat window, you can help me so that I can address those questions right
Yeah,
away.
sure.
And
I
I, in
think
fact,
first of
yeah.
all, if you can speak little loudly, because I think the voice is coming little muffled.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, let me just hold on. I'll just change my phone. Just
And also some sound is coming from your mobile. If you can mute the mobile, I think some if whenever you get a message, we are able to hear it. So if you can mute the cell phone. Now it is not working. No, we can't hear you.
you should hear me now.
No.
Just
The mic maybe is not working. The mic of your
Uh,
earphone is not working.
can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
it
Is
is
it is
better.
it better? Yeah, super.
Yes,
I
yes,
just
yes.
changed to the normal analog microphone. Anyways, so these were some of the questions which you had asked, and I will love to start. In fact, I had some other thought in my mind, but I want to start with this because I think it's very important for us to know all these very heavy sounding jargons and terms, which sort of also worked as a barrier to really knowing about AI. So is machine learning part of AI? I will tell you a small little story, and this is my biggest strength, because I for me every technology, I understand it in the form of a story, because that's how I have always understood complex topics. So I'll start with that. Then there are some other questions which I think I can just address right away. Is mastering Excel mandatory for AI? Not really. Just two different things. How is AI useful for business analytics? I can, when the demo, I'll show you. Can a non-engineering graduate go for mastering AI? Absolutely, yes. But there's something that I really wish happens, that all of AI is a general purpose technology, just like internet, just like electricity, just like steam engine. It's a general purpose technology, and all of us should really master this with immense benefits to us. Is artificial intelligence or operative intelligence which is going to rule the world? I think a mix of AI and human intelligence is what we see likely happening. Why am an engineering college not offering AI? This one, it has now, government is now slowly rolling out a rule where every engineering college will have to offer a course in, just like we have BTech in mechanical engineering, chemical engineering. Now you will also have data science and AI as a compulsory stream in pretty much every college. It's something that was announced in the global AI summit in Delhi recently. Is AI in use for translation work? Yes, it's pretty good at translation work. Now almost near perfect, I'll say. What are the basic AI skills a non-tech person should possess to stay ahead in their domain? I think you should really know about at least 8 to 10 very useful AI tools. Those, and obviously you should be a very power user of the LLMs. So be it ChatGPT, Cloud, Gemini, all the public AI tools, and there are lots of public AI tools today available for free. We'll talk about a few of them. I think mastering those will be good enough. What are the basic courses that one should take above the skills? Okay, so I can share links to courses in the IRMA forums. Happy to do that. I have myself, constantly been doing AI courses, and there are some which I really love, especially by those by Andrew Ng. That's one name you can just, note down. This is a very amazing teacher. He was also the founder of Coursera. So his courses are really amazing, but I can always share a list for this. Is the need for being AI literate equally important for both fresher and senior professional? I think it's more important for senior professional, because freshers will anyways have no choice but to learn AI. For senior professionals, is a very crucial piece. So at Future Lab, that's one of the work stream that I work on, how to really customize AI knowledge and AI literacy for senior professionals. But it's really crucial. And then my views on AI impacting insurance business. Frankly speaking, AI will impact every possible business that we can think of. So no business will remain unaffected per se, because AI essentially is a layer of intelligence, on top of our current intelligence. So frankly, it affects everyone. Now, his this is where I come to the story bit to answer that question on, is machine learning a part of AI, or what is deep learning, neural network, all of that, right? It's a very short story. Let's start with the basic plot. Okay. Um, so this gentleman here, Alan Turing, was considered one of the sharpest mind in computer science. In fact, Apple has paid a tribute to the gentleman by giving that logo, that bite-sized apple, that Apple bite. It represents, it's a homage to Alan Turing. Um, Now, he was one of the first person to ask this question, because there were people before him also who were working on computer science. Now, computer science was largely taken as something which will help you with analysis of data, right? Now, this person was the first one to say, can we also, apart from analyzing numbers, if you remember in your school books, you might have read Analytical Engine by Charles Babbage, right? Ada Lovelace. They were trying to figure how do you analyze numbers and data using computer. This was the first person who said, can we also make computers think? Can computer think, right? Which is where it started. And it's very interesting that this very question, in fact, he wrote an entire research paper called Computing Machinery and Intelligence. which was published in the year 1950. So it was that long that this question was asked, that can machines think, right? So, and later on, what really happened was, because of his and the work of his companions and fellow computer scientists, a branch of study was discovered or started, where the whole idea was, how do you ensure that machines can learn the same way that human being learns? Give them large amount of data, make them see patterns in that data, and then make them learn. Because when you can make somebody learn something, then you can also make them think. I mean, this is how it happens with us, right? When you go to school, initially we learn a topic. Then when we have learned enough, so for example, let's say when we have learned enough about physics, then we can ask questions about physics, then we can think about physics. So it started with training machines uh, to learn, and that's where the word machine learning comes from. That you initially created a whole setup where machines could learn, and then that could lead to machines thinking. Okay, so from machine learning to machine thinking. Um, this is a very interesting test which Alan Turing, in fact, had devised. It's called the Turing test, also called the imitation game. A very amazing movie had come on this particular concept. And right now it's so interesting. In fact, yesterday I was watching this podcast where Joe Rogan was interviewing Peter Thiel, the guy behind Thiel Fellowship and so many big companies in the Silicon Valley, PayPal and Palantir, if you know. So he was asking, we are already at a time when the Turing test has been passed. An entire AI industry today is talking about this Turing test, and it's so very important because it is a test of where the machine has become smart enough that you can't distinguish it from a human being. So Turing test looks like something like this. A evaluator is sitting in a room. There are two other rooms. In one room, there's a machine. In one room, there's a human. Alan Turing said a day will come when evaluator will not be able to distinguish in which room a human is sitting, in which room a machine is sitting. Essentially, a machine which will become so smart that it will come across like a human being, right? That day that happens, we'll say the Turing test has been passed. And today, we are living in a world where half the Silicon Valley, half the people in the AI industry are saying Turing test has already been passed. We have seen sparks of Turing test being passed. We have seen sparks of machine being as intelligent as a human being. It's debatable for sure, but that's the kind of world we are talking about. Now, another important thing, if you wish to know a little bit more about AI from a technical perspective, just the bare technical perspective, I'll say just the basics of it. So, I mean, see, the brain works largely because of the number of neurons we have, right? So, for example, a roundworm has just 300 neurons, or mouse has 71 million neurons, whereas a human being has 86 trillion neurons, right? It's just a matter of what is the density of neurons you can have in the body, right? Now, using the very same concept, this gentleman called Geoffrey Hinton, who is now called the godfather of AI, used to be working with Google for a very long time. He's based out of Canada. So he said, why don't we do one thing? We just replicate the way human neurons are designed in the brain. So we have a neural network, right? In school days, you would have read that there's a neuron, there's a neurotransmitter, signal flows from one neuron to another. So he said, why don't we create a neural network which is artificial in nature, like we create it in a machine, and it will have an input layer, it will have an output layer, and there will be many middle layers in between. In fact, he gave the term deep neural network, which means that there is lots and lots of layers between the input and the output. So this branch of machine learning, where you create artificial neural networks in the machine, and you have a deep layer of neurons there, artificial neurons there, you call it a deep neural network. Okay. And and this is also called deep learning, by the way. When you're training this model, you call it deep learning. So artificial intelligence, when we're talking about the broader domain, we understood what is machine learning, which was Alan Turing saying machines can think or not. So can we teach them to learn? So machine learning. One of the one of the branches of machine learning is deep learning, where you try to create a neural network which is artificial in nature. It's like artificial brain you are building, and you create a deep layer in it. Now, here's something which is very interesting and fascinating for you to learn. And if you can understand this, I think you'll be really sorted when it comes to AI knowledge. So in this input layer, the input can be anything, right? It can be a text, image, video, audio. Now imagine in this input layer, you put a large amount of text, a large amount of language data, right? So this model, when you put a large amount of language data, is called a large language model, right? LLM. So from machine learning, we got to deep learning. From deep learning, one of the application of deep learning is LLM, large language model. And what are some examples of large language models? So one is ChatGPT, then there is Cloud, there is Gemini, there is Llama, which is, as we know, it's literally taking over the entire world. The prediction is that and there's no limitation to how deep these neural networks can be built, right? Which is also, people are saying that in the last 2 years, we have seen the intelligence level of these large language models just really balloon. And what is a large language model? It is this entire world of data, text data to begin with. Now it has also become multimodal. Now you have image data, video data, audio data, and just an executable file. That's all the large language model is. And because there is no limit to how deep the network can get, the intelligence, the quality uh, can keep getting better and better and better. Yes, Kuntal, you have a question.
Yeah. So, Shabbir, I have one question which might be in the minds of many people
Sure.
is when we think of other technologies in our life, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
for example, internet or simple electricity or car,
Yeah.
we do not bother too much about understanding how exactly a car engine is working. For example,
True.
do understand certain things in
Yeah.
school, but if you compare with how many people are using it versus how many people actually understand or want to understand or they need to understand.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to AI, because whenever I've attended some workshops or something, some video, usually there'll be a very technical person who will be trying to tell people how it actually works. And
Correct.
in talking about all the jargon, then it becomes so difficult.
Yeah.
There is
For
some.
a non-techie, it's actually difficult to understand this jargon per se.
So,
Yes.
my question is it even needed? Like now, looking
Um.
at
Hmm.
this, like 2 years back, if you saw how
Hmm.
things were moving, and now where we are and where we will be 2 years later,
Yes.
do we need to understand what exactly an LLM is? And if some suppose, because see, you might be telling some people will understand it, but you might not actually get it in the sense that
Let's.
okay, you will more or less understand but might not internalize it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
should people be worried? Because when you don't understand something, then you feel
Hmm.
anxious. It is human
Yeah.
nature.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
suppose
Correct.
I'm not understanding, I know yes, some data was fed to the LLM and now it is able to give me all right answers.
Hmm. Hmm.
Is it
Hmm.
fine if I don't understand? Basically, that's the question.
See, one reason why you should understand at least the basics of it. So, for example, when it comes to internet, you should know that what is HTML, because if you see that secure site, what does it mean to have a not secure site? So I think that basic thing is good to know, especially for knowledge workers, for managers, who will be dealing with this. For example, let's say there are jobs called machine learning engineers. Now, if you don't even know what is machine learning, how do you figure what a machine learning engineer does? And because this thing is going to become integral part of our everyday lives going forward, I'll say it's similar to, we have this course in IRMA called Finance for Non-Finance Managers, right? Basics of finance for managers. You don't really need to, let's say, learn how to do deep depth, in-depth financial modeling, but it's good to know balance sheet, cash flow, right? It's a general thing. So from that perspective, I think it's good to know at least the broad level of. So at least you should be able to differentiate what is a machine learning, what is a neural network, what is a LLM. But beyond that, not so much. And even if you don't understand all of this, even that is okay, because eventually, as you said, we use internet to get things done. You go to Google, you ask a question, get done. Even if you don't know, how what a search engine is, what let's say search engine optimization is, it's okay. So in general, maybe not so much, but it's good to know, sort of a thing. Yeah. Okay. Now, what I'll also do is, because I told you, for the context of this discussion, and especially with IRMANs, we are leaders, right? So idea is, not to just give you how to use this particular tool, but idea was to also, lay this context for you of what's really happening in the industry, what's really happening in AI, what's really happening in emerging technology. So I'll also play these small little clips. A few of them, I think, have some 5 or 6 of them, but I think very crucial to know. So this one here, it's a clip where Jensen Huang, who is the founder and CEO of NVIDIA, now the most valuable company in the world, literally. It has just overtaken Microsoft and Google also. What does he say about generative AI?
Generative AI, the first wave of it, of course, is all the pioneers, and we know many of the pioneers: OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, Microsoft, a whole bunch of amazing
Can you
companies
hear
doing this.
the video?
X is
Okay.
doing this. X.AI is doing this.
Yep.
Amazing companies doing this. The next wave of AI we didn't talk about, which is enterprise. Of course, one of its applications is customer service, and we hope that we can give every single organization the ability to create their own AIs. And so everybody would be augmented and have a collaborative AI that could empower them, help them do better work. The next wave of AI after that is called physical AI, and this is really quite extraordinary. This is where we're going to need 3 computers, one computer to create the AI, another computer to simulate the AI, both using for synthetic data generation, as well as a place where the AI robot, the humanoid robot or the manipulation robot, could go learn how to refine its AI. And then, of course, the third AI is the computer that actually runs the AI. So it's a three computer problem. It's a 3-body problem.
Yeah.
Generative AI, the
So
first wave of it, of course,
let
is all the
me
pioneers, and
So,
we know.
what Jensen here is saying again, if you are an industry leader, irrespective of, which industry you are in, it's very crucial to know that, right now AI largely, if you talk about the consumer piece of AI, just 2 year old, right? When November 2023, when ChatGPT came, that's when, you know, common people came to know about AI. And it's just been 2 years. And while we have seen immense development, but it's still at a organizational level, at a, let's say, economic impact level, we have not really seen that happening so far. But that is something that pretty much, the larger AI industry is working on. So for example, this integration of AI into different companies, this industry, that is something which is the next layer of AI, apart from the other one, which is saying this is giving AI a physical shape, which is robotics. So these two things. Yes, Kuntal,
So
again,
do
go ahead.
you see any timeline, and will these changes come later to India, like first to US? This is second question, and the third one
Hmm.
is, uh, how will it change the landscape, overall job landscape? Because one is, of course, equipping oneself with the tools and the resources, improving yourself, being aware of what is happening.
Yeah.
But when the changes start happening at the organization level, which means that
Hmm.
they might hire people to do complete transformation, right? So, like, there was
Correct.
a time when, suppose, entries were done in the books on the
Yeah. Yeah.
registers, and
Correct.
then came the computers and everything. Like companies like SAP came, and then we
Hmm.
started doing data entry, and now we are talking about completely automating
Yeah.
systems.
Yeah.
Uh,
So on
Do you
this,
think that,
yeah.
yeah, so first of all, this big change, what is the timeline? This is the first question.
Hmm.
Any idea about the timeline?
Hmm.
Uh, how can people, at least in terms of mindset, because one is skill, but in
Yeah.
many cases, we might not be able to upskill ourselves at such a level. So, how
So,
to mentally prepare
see,
oneself for a change
uh,
very big that might
I
come
will
in
like
future?
to take the second question to begin with us. A very crucial question which the government of India is, trying to think very hard on. So, I've been to summits where, there have been civil servant officers who are trying to explore this question. Nandan Nilekani, in fact, has set up this entire team, just like, the team which was working on Aadhaar and then UPI. There's a team which is whose core job is to how to build this application layer of AI to ensure that India does not get behind. So that I think when it comes to adoption of AI into organizations, I don't think there'll be much delay because of the distribution of this technology is pretty fast. So pretty much, let's say, Llama was released by Meta on, let's say, day one, and day two, all of us were using it because we also have open source and pretty much, whatever updates come to in the frontier models, all of us get access at a very quick pace. I think what will remain important is the organizational intent. How much do they want to have enterprise AI? Because it obviously comes at a cost. And right now, one of the cost is the cost of taking a risk, taking a bold step towards it. Because right now, generative AI also comes with a lot of errors and mistakes, right? So there are some leaders, and I know both kinds of leaders. One who are saying that once it becomes fully correct, fully reliable, only then we'll have an enterprise level AI. And then there are leaders who are saying that we should get it right now because we can get the benefit of it. Because see, AI is improving at a very fast pace. It's an exponential technology which is getting better at an exponential rate. So if an organization adopts AI today, you can get the leverage of that in the as and when the model keeps improving. But I think in terms of time of distribution, maximum a month gap will be there. But when it comes to talking about, when do we see that this thing will become mainstream to the point that every organization has a organizational level LLM? See, that is completely a function of Turing test being passed. Reason why I started with that. When you will have AI system which is as smart as a human being, and it is in terms of reasoning, in terms of mathematical ability, it's not making hallucinations and mistakes, which it does today, right? That is when it will, let's say you will start having a AI as a colleague in your organization, or AI having a personal advisor to a CEO. So that's definitely one of the tools that we are building. For example, I am from the FMCG industry and I know the ins and out of the industry. So one of the things which I'm doing is I'm trying to build a tool which can help a FMCG sales leader take very critical business decisions. What is going wrong with the business? How can the business grow? Let's say what product category is suffering because of X, Y, Z reason. Can we really use all this large stream of data and have a ML model trained on it so that you can have a chat with the data? So that's something that I am working on. A lot of other people, who are building AI tools are working on. But when does it become fully reliable is when you have no hallucination or you have almost zero hallucination. When will that happen? The speculation largely is that the next 5 years is when we'll see that kind of a model. It can happen in the next 2 years. Some people say next 2 years, some people say next 3 years, some people say next 10 years, but largely majority of the industry thinks that by 2030 we'll have that kind of a model which is as smart as a human being.
We are saying 5 to 6 years, we will see a lot of
Lastly,
change.
so Google, this Meta, and so think of the companies who are building these frontier models, right? And if you see what is their prediction on, when do they reach something which is equivalent to human intelligence? So largely it comes around, and obviously it's also very speculative and controversial, because what if you say something, it doesn't really happen. But if you look at the trend, so largely the trend is saying roughly 5-6 years is when, we reach AGI level technology. Some people are saying it's already there in certain pockets. Narrow AI is already very, very good, much better than humans at doing certain tasks.
Do you
But
think
we
the
are
implementation will be democratized, or it will come very late to India because we might not be ready for it? We still are primitive in the way we work.
It will be an uneven distribution. So again, those organization leaders. So for example, some of the companies have put me as an AI consultant in their organization because they are already welcoming the fact that, a change is coming, they want to integrate it. And I'm sure there are people like me, who organization is working very closely with to integrate AI. So that's already happening. So obviously this organization will have an edge. But there are also organizations who are sort of, waiting, thinking that when it will become better. So there it will be a little later. But I think unlike any other technology, the diffusion of this technology will be one of the fastest that we've ever seen because of the immense power it brings to the organizations. Anand, you have a question?
No, I just wanted to add in terms of adoption of AI in India,
Yeah.
because we are such a vast jurisdiction. In the public sector, there is an understanding that AI holds a massive potential to reach public services to individuals, and budget is not a constraint here. So we are all, I know where people, all the best players in the world have come and failed to deliver on very basic asks from AI, things which are theoretically being said that yes, we are capable of doing, but when you go to the POC level, then they fail. Simple
Yes.
things. I had to put a question also. Simple things like I have a regulation. Can you parse and implement it? Then they say, no, English language is a very beautiful language, but that makes it very difficult for us to give you a very credible kind of options for a human to sit and eliminate your clerks in a knowledge domain. So when it comes to it, in terms of budget preparations, at least for the public services, there a vast majority of it, they know and they are looking for a solution.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the one amazing thing which I find there is, so while, I totally accept that, today the models are numerically not the best. And that's, in fact, if it was very good in numbers, it could have already, been implemented across. But the thing which I find very exciting is how the government of India has literally, shown a lot of interest, a lot of agility in being very, very active in getting AI implemented across the government. So I know that civil service officers today are being trained on power use of AI. There are institutions being built around this very thing.
I think what I'm hearing from different sources and personally also have experienced is that the B2C part, where there are consumer facing tools, is progressing much better than B2B. So
Yeah,
in fact, I think you were also in touch with Microsoft for some implementation, and it's not very smooth,
yeah,
as
yeah.
Anand is saying. So probably the
Yes.
B2B, although like
And
it will
it's
be
coming
difficult.
from the numerical ability, Kuntal, largely. Because the thing is, and it's very interesting also, because think about, how majority of human race, how do we learn? Initially, we master language first, if you think of it. I mean, most of us, we learn to speak first, right? And then slowly we become better at maths. It's exactly the same trajectory which AI is also following. So today you'll find LLMs in terms of benchmarking, English 90% to 95% accuracy. Maths, even today, it's 55 to 60% accuracy. And it's the mathematical reasoning bit. When it gets improved to the point of 90% plus, you'll start seeing what we call AGI, a general intelligence, which is able of doing all the tasks. Hallucination going down almost to near zero. And that's when the B2B thing will explode.
I think we are little
Yeah, I
off
know
track.
time
Too
wise.
many to.
Yeah, yeah,
So maybe we can skip the videos and you can share these on if you are going to share the deck or the links later. Maybe you
yeah, yeah.
can move to demo of 2 or 3 tools that you feel are really really important for everyone to
Often.
explore, whether
Yeah,
for personal use or using in their day-to-day work. And
yeah,
probably
sure.
because I think mostly people here are working, so you can talk about like maybe the top 3 ones that you have used for improving your productivity as a professional.
Correct. Sure, sure. I'll do that.
Maybe
Um,
like to take 2-3 minutes each, so that we can cover 3, and then we can take questions. And 2-3 minutes, I can also talk about how I have used,
correct,
which are the
correct.
tools that I have used, and how.
So I'm going with this basic assumption that all of you use ChatGPT and Cloud and Gemini anyways, right? Um, I can show you a couple of things which are, I'll say, a way you can power use AI. Okay. So one example is this entire concept of building a custom GPT. Okay. Now, as a professional, there's so many amazing stuff which a custom GPT can do, which a normal GPT cannot. So, for example, Chat GPT themselves, the OpenAI team, they have built some custom GPTs for you. So they have a data analyst, they have and this is all publicly available. So even in the free version, you get to use all of this. But I have realized in my workshop that very few people know about it or use it, right? So these are some of the tools
Can
which,
you tell how to access this? Because if somebody just opens the GPT, maybe they are not able to figure out how to
okay,
go
so
to
let
AI
me, okay,
specialist.
sure.
So if they
So
just
you
open
go to
the
normal chat
GPT,
GPT, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
then you come here and come to explore GPTs.
and they have to have the paid one for
Need
this.
not. So
Okay,
if you have the free one, you can still come and access this. You can't create one. In order to create a custom GPT, so then you
so
need a paid version, but you can
yeah,
use
and
it
I'm
all.
saying that as per your profession, you go to explore GPTs, and there are some pre-created GPTs which are experts. So I can see website generator, some other
There is some, so for
analyst,
example, this all these
writer.
tools which GPT, chat GPT team themselves have made. So data analysis is something I use quite a lot. So you can
Okay,
just come
okay.
here and just let's see what all it can do for you. So it will work, drop in any files and can help analyze and visualize your data. So you have an Excel sheet, obviously subject to it not being a confidential data. You can come here, you can start the chat with it. You can, let's say, drop. So let me give you an example of a data sheet which I recently had. So this, I was conducting a survey for my workshop participants, and they shared, how much do they know about AI and stuff. It's a zip file, right? And I come here, and otherwise, when you're talking to an AI, you always have to give it a role. You have to give it a context. So in a normal situation, I would go, uh, GPT, please take up the role of a data analyst. And I'm sharing this data with you, analyze it, and try to give me the insights from this. Here, I don't have to give that because it's already done. It's already a data analyst, right? So I say, um, tell me the key insights from this data. So I can be very crisp in my prompting, so to say. Okay. And it will be able to read this data, analyze this data for you. These are the key insights which this data. It's an Excel sheet, right? What are the level of knowledge? Most people have said that they are beginners. What are the AI tools they use? They use ChatGPT. A few participants mentioned they have not used any other tools. What are the expectations from the workshop? They have a variety of expectations ranging from understanding usage of AI. So it has literally taken my entire data piece and read it in simple English. And obviously, I can just say, can you uh, tell this to me in English? This is, super crucial for, let's say, those of you working in grassroots organizations. English might be a barrier, but with AI, the beautiful part is language per se as a barrier has just gone away. So for example, it is saying इस data के basis पे कुछ insights हैं. AI knowledge level ज़्यादातर participant ने अपने आप को AI में beginner level पर बताया है. And you can, read the entire thing. It can be Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, whatever language you're comfortable in. The accuracy in language, as I was saying, is always 90% plus in the last 6 months that we have seen. It's only going to get better to the point of being 100%. So this is an amazing tool that you can use. Apart from this, I mean, whatever is the profession. So let's say you want a,
Just to ask, for example, suppose somebody is a researcher or somebody is into a social sector organization and they want to analyze, suppose, some public report by Government of
yeah,
India about some data
yes,
of some programs implemented. So they can upload that if it is a public data. They can
public data
upload
you
that
can apply.
sheet here, and they can ask it, give me maybe summarize this or give me
In
10
fact,
points. So
look, let
suppose
me,
their manager is asking them to come up with some research on certain topic, then if it is public data, they can upload it here.
yes, and they
What
can do it.
happens if, I mean, suppose there's some work related document
Hmm.
and somebody uploads it?
Yeah,
I'm asking this because if somebody has access, they will be, they'll feel like doing it.
yeah, correct. And they do,
So,
yeah, correct.
so is it like it will be a
Yeah.
violation of the
It will be.
uh,
It will be for sure. If it's a confidential data and you have uploaded it here. Now the thing is, both all the
I'm
LLMs,
putting it across because so that people know that if some check is done later, then it might be considered as a violation. So don't do it. Basically, that's
it
what I'm
is it
saying.
is a violation. And the thing is, this is also where it on the onus is on the leaders of the organization today, because the thing is people will use ChatGPT anyways. Let's say you ban it on the laptop. I've been to companies where they have banned it on the laptop, and I came to know that they use it in their personal mobile. Because for people now, they have started relying on it as a second brain. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
true for, you'll be very surprised. I went to a tribal school
The
where,
solution is that organization needs to have a personal chat
yeah,
GPT so that the information doesn't go out, basically, right? For the
see,
employees to use. Otherwise, they'll start using it.
ideal solution is for organizations to start thinking of building enterprise level uh, AI tools, which they are fully aligned. And so, for example, let's say one example I can give you of the tool we are building on for FMCG. So we are building this inside the Azure environment. Now, Azure is Microsoft Azure. So pretty much people are aligned at organization level. It's a secure platform where they build many tools on anyways. If you're building something on top of Azure, the understanding is an enterprise level security tool, so it will be safe. It's a good time to start moving to that direction, because uh, you would not want to be seen as an organization which is sort of banning the use of AI tools, because AI tools will be used anyways. but then it will be misused, I'll say, if you don't have any policy, or at least if you have not talked about it at an organization level, that you're not even acknowledging that AI tools are used, or how do as an employee, I want to know what my organization leadership thinks about the AI, what the AI policy is. So at least there should be discussions around it, just like the way you have a you know policy for all the different things, you should also have a policy for AI, and they should be transparently communicated that what is okay to do, what is not okay to do. And in terms of the question which you had asked me, so if it's a publicly available document, you are doing some sort of a research, two ways to do it. So every LLM today now are coming up with this concept of, so ChatGPT has this concept of GPT, which is personal stuff you can build. Cloud has this concept of projects, right? So what you can do is you can create something where you can upload. So when you go and click on create project, right? So let's say you are working on a research on health, yeah, and what you're trying to achieve, let's say understanding health sector in India, yeah. So you create this project, and this is, I'll say, the second layer of, one is just going to LLM and asking question. This is the second layer. You can add a lot of content here. So you can add different kind of documents, right? So let's say, I added this document, and you have more documents. And then when you start interacting with this, it works like a co-assistant for you. It has read all those documents, then it will answer your questions. There are also, tools which can help you get access to live information from the internet. So for example, this amazing tool called Perplexity here, if you can use it in combination with your research. So let's say here you have to give it a context. I am a researcher working on health in India. Can you give me links to all the research papers published in the area of communicable diseases in India in the last 10 years, and public health solutions for the same, or public health research work largely. Okay. Um, Take up, and here it's also important to give it some sort of a role. So take up the role of a public health expert. Yeah. So what it will do for you is, this is an LLM plus a search engine combined. So it will do the search for you. At the same time, as any researcher will know, that you have to put citations, you have to check the source of where the data is coming from. So you can quickly go, and if you paste, you will get all the citations here. So super, super helpful if you're a research personnel, and you can go to this actual website. So it's like human plus AI coming together to do things, and save a lot of time when you're doing something. So can be done on a cloud, can be done on GPT. Cloud, for those of you who are not familiar with this tool, I find it much more powerful than a chat GPT. Here, the beautiful part is, so let me just show you, how you can really use it in very amazing ways. Um, present this inform present this information to me in the form of a website which I can easily navigate. And obviously, you can have larger amount of data as well, where you can train this entire thing on. Now, it can do really good quality coding for you and provide. So now it started doing coding. It will build a very nice, easy to navigate website where you can, go and interact with your data. And right now, I have given a very small input of data. You can give it a very large input of data. So as we say that English will be the new coding language. So see, it has done the entire thing. It has made a website for you. Now you can just go and search and study. It's essentially making entire process of research and knowledge work much more simple and seamless. Yeah. And I see a lot of questions on the chat box also, Kuntal.
Yeah.
Shall we want to take some?
Yeah, we have already answered. So
Okay.
basically, Nivedita was asking which tool is it. So the earlier tool where he was taking the links, that was Perplexity,
Complexity.
and the one which he used to create this website is Cloudy. So he just entered that please create a website. It will create a website. So if you
Right.
want to present in front of some people or something, then you can use it. Just give it so that it gives you it gives it to you in a website format. Shabir, we don't have much time, so
Yes.
how do we
Yeah.
go about it? Because we
Um,
started 5 minutes
yeah,
late.
yeah. So
Either we extend.
we can maybe extend by 5 or 10 minutes if it's okay with people. If you give a thumbs up, folks, we can extend by 10 minutes. But I also
Thumbs up
understand it's
if,
a weekend because there are a lot of other things which you wanted to cover. But then for me, taking those questions was also very crucial. So obviously, 1 hour, as I was saying, is
you
a very
talked about,
limited
just to
time.
summarize, I think you showed ChatGPT, the personal GPTs that people
Yeah,
already are there, and then you can also create if you have paid version.
correct.
Perplexity
So
for getting the citations, Cloud for higher level thinking, strategic thinking, creating, you give the content, create the website. Any other tool that you feel is a must know for
I think
professionals?
you should definitely talk about Mid Journey because you are a power user of Mid Journey and how you use it for your design stuff. So maybe we can
And
have that
before
one
I turn
more
the
discussion.
conversation over to both Kishore
Meantime, I
and
can just display
Orville
Mid
for
Journey
some
and
thoughts,
we can talk
initial
about your
thoughts on US
experience of
China
using Mid Journey.
competition, I do want to talk a little bit about where we are right now. So,
So
over the last,
I
let's
hope
There
say,
is
all
some
of you can
video.
see
25
Is
years,
there
there have
some
been
video
so
on?
many
Shafeet,
changes
Mid
on
Journey.
in
your
this US China
somewhere
relationship,
on your
in
laptop,
part
because
because
there's
these
some
countries have
voice
changed
that is
so
coming.
much over 25
Oh, is it?
years.
Okay.
Uh,
Sorry. Yeah, wait, just hold on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, I
probably
hope.
I can take 2 minutes and you can open Midjourney. So
Yeah.
basically, in the last 6 months, I have tried to, or I have myself become a power user of AI tools, and specifically in the field of art, because I love art from the time I remember as a kid. But I never went to art school. I never went to a design school. I went to a regular. I did my graduation, did my MBA. However, I always wanted to create art, and I didn't know how to do it with my hands because I'm not a trained artist, but my brain is creative. So, what I'm trying to communicate here today to all of you is the tools that we have today or will have in the coming future in 1 or 2 or 3 years are not, don't think of it just for professional development, but also
Yeah.
to improve yourself in the direction you always wanted to. We are all in roles in corporates or in development sector organization, but as a kid you never dreamt to be a marketing consultant, for example, right? You dreamt to be something else. It can be anything related to art or music or writing or any of the creative, because I think creativity is one of the thing that sort of empowers our soul. So we work, it's possible that you're getting that creative satisfaction with your work. Very good. If you're not, use the tools to also figure out uh, how can you express yourself better. So just an example of what I have been able to do via Midjourney. So essentially, Midjourney is able to create images based on the prompt that you give. And if you have a certain design sensibility or design language, then just like any other designer or any other artist would create art of a specific kind. So for example, when you see a, say, a MF Hussain art, right? You are able to recognize that this is MF Hussain. Now, with the use of AI, with the use of Midjourney, you can actually figure out your own creative style. And all these products that you're seeing here, the designs that you see are actually created via Midjourney, by prompting. And it remains unique to me because I'm the one who is prompting and choosing. So, out of say 100 designs that it generates, I refine it and I choose what I like. And that's why it becomes my design language. So, this is a very, very perfect use case of how AI can be used in your own unique way. And the same thing can happen with music AI apps, wherein you create music, you refine it because you have that
Music,
sensibility.
video.
And then you are able to create your own unique value proposition to the world. So, also explore AI with that perspective. I think. Yes, there can be a lot of negative ramifications of AI, but as an individual, you have limited influence on that. So don't bother about that too much. Focus on what you can do as of now, and there's a lot you can do. So focus on the possibility side, I would say, on the opportunity side, not just on the limitation or regulation or what can go wrong, because there's no point in intellectually thinking about it. Think about it creatively. Then you'll find it. You'll basically feel that there was not never a better time to be alive in the human history. So
Uh, Maybe I can
that's
just add one thing there, Kuntal, that what I have seen, one of the most powerful thing about AI, not just with how to make images or videos or audio, and you can make all of that at quality now, which is nearly indistinguishable from human output, but it's also the way the entire knowledge base is very easily and very openly being shared. So, for example, something like a cloud, if you come to cloud, it will literally have a tool where you can learn how to use cloud. And in this, they have given a publicly open document where the entire prompts, you can just say, go and read all these prompts, it's openly available. Similarly, for mid journey, let's say you like this image, right? Let's say you like this image. The prompt is openly available. You can build on top of it. So let's say you just click on prompt, the prompt has come, and this one says a simple doodle of an Asian girl. So you say maybe simple doodle of an Indian girl. And you can, let's say if you are rather than coffee, you say a flower in hand. And it's almost like this community coming together, work openly sharing knowledge with each other. In fact, as you know, a lot of AI LLMs are also being open source, so you can literally access it, mold it to your way. This is almost coming across as all entire philosophy of how we really are building with top of AI. This you'll find most of the good quality AI courses today are completely free, because also it's so new that the industry wants you to really learn about this technology. And again, I mean, no denying the fact that there is a lot of ethical dilemmas which are a part of it. What happens to our local artisans? What's happening to people who are doing Madhubani art, or our folk singers? What really happens to them in this new world? So, I mean, frankly speaking, neither me nor Kuntal would have an answer to this, and I mean, nobody has an answer to this at this stage. So it's something that collectively we need to think, figure what's really happening, what's the right way to approach a discourse and a. So I just took one piece of art and sort of build another on top of it. I did it just right now, right? It took 2 seconds to do this. Um, the pace at which it is happening. In fact, I just had one image here to show you the progress it has made, just mid journey itself. 2 years back, the images used to be like this. Today, it is like this. You can see the photorealism which it has gone. This image which you see here is just a mid journey image, which was then converted into a video. Think about what happens to photo shoots, filmmaking, what really happens to so many other creative professions. So you see, you can be against it, for it, neutral, but can you afford not to know about this? I don't think so. So in terms of as a knowledge worker, I think, and that's something maybe I can leave you all with in this very, very short session, because frankly speaking, AI requires, lot more time and a forum which is,
Shipping, people are
yeah.
ready to wait for like maybe, so we can extend till 7:10 if you want to show
Oh,
some
okay.
other tools also, like maybe
Yeah, yeah,
around
sure.
music. So we have seen text, we have seen like Cloud,
Okay.
Perplexity, Mid Journey. We have seen how you can create images. People can
Yeah.
try on them. Now maybe you can give
Yeah,
some
sure,
demo
sure.
on
Would love to. Love
music, and one another one, because it is the need for management professionals. The one which creates the decks
to. Okay, sure. Sure, sure.
presentations, because I think
So,
that's a pain for many people. They hate creating presentations. Uh,
yeah. Okay,
uh,
okay.
and
So,
also some people are very, they take pride that they make presentations. So I think they also need to increase their skill sets, because presentation making is not something that probably we'll
it
need
has
to
been
do.
automated in ways which will really
It can be
surprise you.
automated.
So
Yeah.
let me
So
then start with the presentation tool. It's a tool which I use very, very often. Um, okay. So, and also I will tell you the background thinking behind this. In fact, this is one which I had a workshop today, and I used it there. So this is a tool called Gamma.app, and obviously there are a lot of other tools like this. So even in Google, slides, you now have AI integration. Gemini is there. Then PowerPoint has Copilot, but this one is something which I really like because it's very well designed. It really understands the nuances of what is it to make a presentation, you know. So let me give you a small demo of this. So you come to this tool called Gamma. You click on generate. You can make a presentation or a website or a document. We'll go for a presentation. Let's make a maybe a 15 slide presentation, and let's make something which is maybe make something about IRMA. Um, Imagine you are an expert in the field of rural management in India. I want you to make a presentation. Sorry, I want to make a presentation on the essential steps to be taken by managers to make India into a developed nation by 2050. I mean, Dr. APJ had the vision of 2030, I believe. Maybe just put it 2030, especially from a rural lens. Like, I mean, Gurgaon में तो चलिए malls बन रहे हैं, गांव में, you know, how do we make our villages into, you know, really developed places and ensure that all the amenities, all the benefits are there in rural areas. So it's talking about, and this is the beautiful part of this tool, which reason why I like it over other tools, because it gives you this mental model where you can think. So it is told you, in order to make this presentation, first you start with rural management in India, driving India's development by 30, then the landscape, how do you empower rural communities, sustainable agriculture, enhancing rural infrastructure, then entrepreneurship, education, healthcare, energy, so gender, right? It has taken all of those components, which what a human will do, right? When you are making a presentation, you are creating a story. Presentation is a story, right? So in
So
order to tell a story,
like if people struggle with creating flows, like
yes,
what should my presentation contain? So at least for, even if they have to put in their own information, they can use
correct.
it to create that flow, because I think this is a crucial part, and then you have to fill in data. So you can this is this tool free?
No, this one is free for some usage, as in you can come and make, I think, some
But
8-10
somebody can
presentation.
ask, suppose their organization, that can you give,
Yeah.
if their job is to create presentations, they can ask
Then
their
ideally they should. Ideally
HR
they
or
should.
whoever that can you
It
get me the
costs
paid.
500 rupees per month, so it's not very expensive, but it's very
The
powerful.
entire team can use it, like if they have just
They
one
can share
subscription.
the account and all. Yes. So
Okay, so
let's
it
say
can save a lot of time basically for the
it
team.
is it's a huge time saver for me for sure. I use it for to make documents also. It can make really good documents because it's not about the presentation; it's about the thinking. It can think really well because, and it's designed to think in a story format, right? Which is very powerful. So it can have different designs here. So look at all these designs, you can pick any, and then you can generate the presentation. And the good part is every piece is editable. So right from the structure of it, the 10-15 slide, you can edit that. Output also. So let the output come. So now it has started making the presentation. Pretty quick. Uh, Quickly it can, you know, create all these details. So now it will make all these 15 slides. So let me sort of now tell you what are the interesting things here. So let's say here you don't like the title. So you come here and you say you can improve the writing, fix the spelling and grammar, especially really handy for our ground level colleagues, you know, who maybe struggle with English. Maybe they were not fortunate enough to go to an English medium school. Frankly speaking, that is no longer a barrier. I mean,
Yeah.
language is largely as a barrier has been removed, and this is something that we as leaders of, you know, either social sector or corporate sector, we should really, you know,
But
really push
suppose
for
the
this.
presentation is in English, let's assume, and somebody has to give it in for front of stakeholders, suppose in Telugu, let's imagine.
Yeah.
Uh, can they translate also with this tool or some other tool?
So this one, I have not really used this one for translation. So I mean, but there are, you know, tools now which can translate. Let me just check
There is a
here.
translate option,
There is a
yeah.
translator, but I don't think the
Translate
Indian languages are here so far. It is mostly, so let's
some
say
other international languages. Yeah,
I
Hindi is
see Hindi. Let's see. So all the Indian languages, that is definitely a thing which is a issue. So yeah, it's Hindi. It is working. One of the troubles with Hindi that I've normally found with LLM is they go into too much Hindi. तो भारत की
yeah.
समृद्धि की ओर बढ़ने के लिए ग्रामीण भारत की शक्ति को खोलें या प्रस्तुति, तो इतनी हिंदी हम नॉर्मली यूज नहीं करते हैं. So that is something for which ideally you can use a cloud or a chat GPT to, make it conversational Hindi, and then you can come and paste it. But broadly, as in broad level pay, not a bad job that it is doing right now. And obviously with things getting better, I think all the other language integration will also come in. You can also sort of, change the layout, which is, you want to make it less visual, or you want to make it in a different timeline format, make it longer, shorter, simplify. So as I was
Simplify
telling
like
you, this
yeah.
this tool is designed to make presentations, so it makes the job easy for you. Similarly, you have this
Basically, I
amazing
think
tool.
if there's anyone who is in the leadership position, they should definitely give this access to their team if they are into
Yeah,
making decks and making presentations for stakeholders.
yeah. Similarly, you have this amazing tool here called Julius.ai, right? Which is so very good when it comes to analyzing data. Just the way that, it was able to make presentation, Julius.ai can, really do good quality data analysis for you. So you can upload a file here and, get data analysis. I'm not go too much into detail of it, but largely what I'm trying to say is today what is happening is while big labs have made all these frontier models like GPT and Llama and Gemini, the smaller studios. So for example, I'm trying to build something which will be very useful for the FMCG industry, also something very useful for the social sector. So people like us, who know the nuances of some certain industries, or who really, for example, I really care for education. So I'm trying to build tools which can be really powerful for a student. So that is the job which is emerging. Apart from, so you don't need to be a machine learning engineer to work on AI. You as a person who really wants to create good use cases. So for example, the guy who made Gamma, I mean, may not have been a machine learning engineer, but they really wanted to make something which was very powerful for presentation. Similarly, this needs to be done for every sector. So every sector should have a tool which is customized to it so that the other users can easily sort of come and just, sit on that platform and use it, and don't have to spend too much time and energy doing that.
Got it. I
So
think
huge
we are
opportunity for there. Yeah.
so. To summarize, I think what we understood overall is not just AI, but we got to be aware of, at least be aware of the emerging technologies because they are going to change our lives. Hopefully for good. Hopefully there won't be too much
Fingers crossed.
disruption. Hopefully we'll be able to cope with the change. There are a number of tools that are now already available, some free, some paid, which can
Um,
exponentially
so the
improve our
so
productivity.
total the number of tools which are there available in the market now is almost 30,000. So it's like
But
really
at least, yeah, at least I would say top 5 to 10.
you
It
should.
would be good to practice and use it in day to day life, and also in figuring out what you love to do. If it is writing, image creation, music, do you want to use those tools to make your passion into reality? Um, Now, if somebody wants to learn deeper, wants to learn more, uh, do you share things regularly? If you can share, how can people get in touch? Or
Countries see each other,
Yes.
can,
and see their place in the world.
there
So
is again a
So
video
we're
that
in
is
a
playing
period now where the US
on
China
your
relationship
system.
has
is it gone now?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So we run this open source, completely free community called AI Deep Dive. We also have a media channel where I keep sharing important updates amount. So some videos which I showed you in the beginning. There's a lot of videos I keep sharing there because I think, as a country we need to know what's really happening at the forefront of not just AI but emerging technology, robotics, biotechnology, all of that is really crucial for us to know. And in this AI deep dive community, there are almost 2,000 members now from different age brackets. So they are school kids as well as senior citizens and everything in between, and people are free. And I have also created different cohorts here, so working professionals, students, teachers, so you can join the community and it's all free. Like you can move in and out as and when you feel. You can ask questions. There are different kind of professionals there now, specialists in different areas. You can ask questions to them. I'm usually very active in that forum, happy to take any of your questions there, so you can join that. And on the left is, the e-commerce website that we are running called Everything Boho, which is live, doing reasonably decent business now. It will really be amazing if some of you can support us to scale that further. And of course, there's our LinkedIn profiles where also, I keep both me and Kuntal, we keep sharing whatever we learn, we have always, always stuck to the point that we should share knowledge because we really enjoy sharing knowledge. So you can join us on LinkedIn as well. We'll keep sharing stuff there.
Thank you so much, and thank you everyone for being here today and being an amazing, engaged audience. Krishna, maybe over to you to
Close it.
summarize and close.
Yeah. So I think it has been a very wonderful session, which the testament to which is participants' curiosity. I think increased curiosity towards AI and the world of AI. So there are a huge number of tools that are in the market, and that which we think we need to learn and adapt to. And I think this will just help them dive into that world. And on that note, I would like to thank Mr. Shabbir for sharing his invaluable insights on these AI tools. His expertise and passion for empowering businesses and individuals through emerging techs are truly inspiring. We appreciate your time and willingness to share your knowledge with the IRMA fraternity, sir. I would also like to extend my gratitude to our moderator, Ms. Kuntal, for skillfully guiding the conversation and making the session engaging and informative. To our audience, thank you for investing your time in today's session. Your participation and engagement are what makes these sessions truly special. With your permission, we will conclude today's session. The recording will be uploaded to YouTube, allowing those who missed the session to benefit from the rich discussion. Thank you once again and have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.